There's an old tale about a young lad, born in Connecticut but raised in the dangerous streets of North Carolina. One glorious day he found himself in a peculiar situation. As he sat in service, swinging his little legs back and forth, gazing round about, the preacher heard from God about the lad's destiny. Service was high. People were being filled with the Spirit and receiving the Word of God. Then the bishop heard from God and placed the young lad in his chair and anointed him. The young lad began to cry as he felt the holy oil feel as hot, burning fire on his head. The saints rejoiced. That day of destiny, forever changed the life of who we now know as Bishop Angelo Manuel Grady. This is for you. What if there was no Bishop Manuel Grady? For Deacon Paul Amos, he would still be in the nightclub. That's right, DJ Amos on the ones and twos. Just think what his life would be like in the club every night, still DJing. What a horrible life. His wife, tired, frustrated, ready for him to leave. Think about that. Doesn't look like a happy couple right there, do they? Let's have a listen at what they think their life would be like without Bishop Grady.
My name is Deacon Paul Amos, and this is my wife.
One name is because I can't imagine Bishop not being in our lives, especially at the time. I believe that it was God ordained that I met them first because I was getting ready to walk out of the marriage, and I believe that God sent them into our lives to give us some direction on building our character. As far as where Paul would be, probably dead, and where I would be probably in prison for killing him.
Well, it was a setup because when I first come to the church, he had put me into audio, and I wasn't a member. And then he came and explained to the congregation that the reason why he put me into audio was God had told him to put me in audio. So I was still DJing in the club, working in the audio in the church for about 3 or 4 months, close to Christmas. And this one night at the club, I just told the owner, I said, I can't do this no more. I'm in the church now, and that's where I want to be.
Or what about the Coneys moving from New Jersey to North Carolina? Yeah, many of you think that they may have wanted to move here. But Deacon Anita, no. She didn't want to leave her family. She had comfort there. Minister Big H had his job getting ready to come upon his pension. 9.5 years of working and stability they had all there while in New Jersey. But Minister Coney said he knew he heard from God that they needed to move to North Carolina. Suppose they wouldn't have moved.
Hi, my name is Herman Coney, and this is my lovely wife,
Anita Coney. We've been at the Potter's house a little over 8 years now.
Wow. I don't even know if we have enough time. Bishop is the only father figure in my life I ever had. It always amazes me how Bishop, to myself and so many other people, that he is something that we never had. He's a father figure. He's the only father that I really ever knew. Because of him and the way I watch him and the way that I just always sit from afar and look at him, I feel like I'm a better father, a better husband, a better brother, a better friend. He has impacted my life tremendously. I can remember a time we was even considering even moving back to New Jersey because it had gotten so rough. Like Anita said, that we wasn't ready for what was here when we got here. It was like it was struggle after struggle. And I remember we called Bishop and we was like, we need to talk to you. And we had a meeting. And like a father, he sat there and listened to us. And he gave us great advice. To this day, I thank God that Deacon Anita was in that meeting with us, because he probably would have popped me upside the head and said, boy, get somewhere and sit down. But just like a father, he sat there and listened to us. He gave us great advice. And to think about it now, we could have made the biggest mistake of our lives. Mm-hmm. The biggest mistake of our lives if we would have went backwards. I also remember, I feel like I'm talking too much, but I also remember a time where Bishop, when we first moved down here, Bishop gave us a word and he said, anywhere but backwards. And now that I think about it, that word was to prepare us for the time to come. So I'm just so grateful to my father, Bishop, for that word of wisdom, and not popping me upside the head and telling me to go somewhere and sit down somewhere. Even though, at a time where there was no consistency in our life, Bishop, like a father, and us being his kids, he saw not what we were, he saw where we was going. And I can say we are forever grateful, because as I said, we could have made the biggest mistake of our lives.
But then we think about, how would Deacon Hare's life be if there was no Bishop Grady? Yeah, many people do not know Deacon Hare's story. He was a gambler. His wife will tell the story. His children will tell the story. He can tell the story. But God changed him a lot, a huge turnaround through the life of Bishop Grady. And it all started with his wife. His wife would come to the Potter's house, and she would go home even when her husband was in this very state, and she would pray for him. She would still be the loving wife that she needed to be, all because of the messages and the word that she received at the Potter's house. If it was not for Bishop Grady and God leading her to the Potter's house, there's no telling where this man of God would be.
Was a gambler, an excessive gambler. On Friday nights, we would see T. He would come and make sure we had food, to eat and all that, but then he would leave, and the next day we would see him. And sometimes he would come home with money, and sometimes, most of the time, he wouldn't come home with money. So we had to deal with, what are we going to do for the following week, or how are we going to make it? And we just believed in God and our faith, and believed what the teachings that Bishop and Pastor Linda taught us. They taught us to shut up and pray, get in your word, and that's what I literally believed, that if I would come home and not complain and murmur to him, that God would change things. And I would talk to Tierra and Terrell, they were babies, and we would get in the word together and just believe what God's word said. We would speak the word when we didn't have things, or when the stove was out, or when we didn't have heat, when we go in there and cut the oven on for our heat, and when we didn't have lights and things. So we just believe God. We came to church and just believe what God's word said, and God, He proved Himself. He proved Himself.
From when you're in the world, gambling and say taking care of the family, it was like contradicting. So he was always that person to take care of something. But when he came to the Potter's house and Bishop began to talk to him, it was like I said, that Bishop cut off the things that was moving him back from being a better man. It was like he really did put him on the wheel and shape him into the man he is today. And I can't say nothing but thank you.
My dad he's a really great man. He really is. He's a great dad. He's a great husband. He's a great father to me and Terrell. And, everyone has a testimony. And I believe while he was going through his testimony, like me and my brother, we didn't really understand because we were so young, but when he came to this church, I began to see like a difference in him. And the difference that I saw it was very, I don't want to say it was very good, but it was like, almost like he evolved, right, a transformation. And just to see how my dad's come from where he was to where he is now is just unbelievable, and it's nothing but God that can really transform and change someone. His words, his teaching, his instruction, just all of what he ministered into my dad, and not only to my dad, to my mom, and even though me and my brother were young, just all of it just being soaked up, really it allowed us to not only grasp and understand it, but to be able to put the actions behind what he was teaching and putting forth in my parents' lives.
Happy Father's Day, Bishop. We love you.